Just seconds between salvation and death. Prompt from 14th January 2023. Write a story about a character who is trapped in a survival situation. I knew something was wrong the second the clock fell from the wall. That thing had been glued to that wall for years with no sign of ever parting from its nail. I swear that the nail must have been made of titanium or something. It was so strong, but not strong enough to hold on to its clock whose face lay smashed on the ground. Next, my desk began to shake. Pencils flew from their holders. Pens rolled off towards me. My monitor shook so violently I was convinced it would shoot off like a rocket. My natural instinct wasn't to duck and cover like we were always taught. It was, of course, to put the pencils back, a ridiculous thing to do. But when the world is shaking around you, it's almost impossible to keep your mind grounded in reality. When I finally realised what was happening, I entered my fight or flight situation and ran for the doorway, stumbling around as the floor below me creaked and groaned. I knew despite how strong it wasn't going to hold. Just as I reached for the door handle, a large beam plummeted down from the ceiling, hitting my arm with such a force I could hear my radius snap beneath it. It pulled me down to the ground, inches from the doorway to my salvation. The pain I was in was so painful I couldn't even think about screaming. My mind just didn't know how to comprehend it. The force of my fall did no wonders for the floor. As my sight began unblurring, I looked death right in the face as the crack in the ground next to me grew wider and wider. If I didn't get that beam off me, I was done for. I looked around me, reached for my free arm out, trying to grab anything I could. All it felt was the clock frame, useless to me, but it was all I had, and the ground wasn't getting any better. I pulled the clock towards me and tried jamming it under the beam. At first it didn't do much, it just bumped into it. But just as the floor below my legs gave way, it gave my upper body the strength and freed up just enough space to jam the clock under the beam and pull my broken arm out from under it. I got to my feet quickly but cautiously and stepped over the beam that had nearly taken my life, ignoring the 5-story deep hole that sat behind me. I made my way out towards the staircase as the building continued to break away and crumble behind me. I grabbed the banister in the stairwell and heard the worst sound my ears ever bore witness to. The floor above me was buckling, ready to fall. I knew running down the 10 flights of stairs in time was an impossibility, so I looked at the banister my hand was holding and cursed at the flickering light above my head. I placed my butt onto the banister, and you best believe I slid down as quickly as I humanly could. The floors above fell behind me as I made it to the next floor with inches between me and my eternal slumber. Once I got to the bottom of the last stairwell, I'd reached such a speed that I shot off the end and flew headfirst towards the cold marble ground. I was fuming. I'd done all that only to break my neck on the ground floor. That was it. If I had any time to think, I would have said a silent prayer, but I didn't. I just closed my eyes and braced for impact. I woke up just over a week later, here in my hospital bed, my arm in a sling, my neck in a brace and tubes shoved up my nose. My boyfriend has waited by my side every day and night, waiting for me to wake up. When I did, the first thing he did wasn't sigh with relief. He shoved his phone in my face and pointed to the remains of my old office building, now lying in rubble. My brain isn't ready to fully comprehend the image just yet, and my neck won't allow me to look at him disapprovingly, so instead I lay here looking directly at the clock ahead of me and think about the one that has saved my life.